Alright, so after a ton of work, the front end is back together. Finished up our wiring, ran our regulator back around to the stator, so we can start getting voltage from that. Our fan is hooked up on a toggle. I tried to factory wire it and it does not work. I don't know if it's a temp sensor or he's got this, it's a Polaris screen, but I don't think it's for this model because it doesn't pop up what it should. And the gear selector switch is good. So it could either be a harness problem or it could be a screen, but it's not kicking the temp sensor in. So he had a little push button deal right here and it went out. So I've got one of these heavy duty toggles in here. So the fan works. One of the wires for his headlight snatched out of the pod. So we weren't able to get that pod working. We got this one. I got the wire and ran over there. All he's got to do is plug and play a new one and he's good to go. So turn that on. And you got your light. So that's kind of long. We're officially done with the front. We are moving to the back. We've got a ton of work to do back here. I don't know what I'm going to do with this frame yet. I'm kind of on the fence. I've got another scrambler frame out there. I'm thinking about lopping this off, maybe about there, and welding in a whole new frame section because this is pretty bad here. It doesn't seem like it, but the way that it's welded and the way it's already cobbled, I'll have to put a picture on here what it's supposed to look like. It's just not, I just don't think it's feasible to do this. So I'll let y'all know what we do with that. Well, I ended up throwing a piece of square tubing. It goes from here all the way back to here, and it's got a little rose weld there and there. It's very sturdy. It's not going anywhere, but man, this stuff just was not wanting to weld. It could be my little Harbor Freight welder just wasn't wanting to do the job, but it is very strong. I did find out that because these are welded and bent the way they are, the back of this actually sits slightly to the left. It kind of just is what it is. I could possibly beat it back into position, or I could beat it hard enough that I would break it off and have to re-weld it. So I'm going to leave it. The box does fit back here again. It's going to take some finessing to get the plastics back on here straight because the uprights are pretty close to being perfect, but they broke all the threads out of these, so I still have to get a nut on the back side. Some of the rear plastic brackets were never really bolted in here before, as you can see, so I'm going to put those together. Just some new bolts put in the back, and it should hold up there a lot better. It's not perfect by any means, but a lot better than what he had, so I'm happy with it. Alright, now that we got all that finished up, we're going in here so we can get this rear diff out. I haven't found an easy way to do this. It's always the same every time I do it. Diff has to go forward, so pretty much all your clutches, your belt box, all that has to get out of the way. I cannot stand when people silicone these things together. You know how many people out there make belt box gaskets now? Like, damn, dude, you just... I mean, I'm going to charge you for it. You're going to pay either way, but man, that sucks. It turns a already frustrating job into something even worse. Watch, y'all about to see what it takes to get this thing separated now. Just watch. As I said before, this is just absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, sometimes you can get in here with a razor blade and, you know, slice along the seal, and it gives you a little bit of leadway, but to be honest with you, it really doesn't make a difference. You got to separate the silicone. I've even used gas sometimes to help kind of eat it as you're separating it, and it makes a difference, but not enough, man. This is a pain in the neck. Every time I do it, it's like this. That's why I don't like using silicone for these. See, watch. God dang, man. Fantastic. Alright, so finally, after all that fight, I can get this thing out of here. Woo! I'm telling you, 90-degree weather and a silicone box is enough to piss me off. Yeah, a lot of good that snorkel was doing. This thing's been full of Florida water. A lot. Jesus, look at all that kicked on there. Oh well, time to get all this crap out of here. Alright, this is where we're at. Got our outer belt box out, both our clutches, our inner clutch box. I was able to get that old rear diff out. It is over there, leaking everywhere. New diff is in. Now I did have to wrap on the frame pretty good. These things, for some reason, these two uprights, they tend to move in over time. And the bolt holes also will sort of mushroom in that way. So you have to open it up a little bit more to get it back together. Overall, I got a lot done today. I'm pretty proud of it. We got the new diff in. Our vent line is right there. Got our vent line hooked up. All of our suspensions back on. We've got our working diff in here. He's definitely got some wore out parts that I mentioned. I think this is going to be one of those he just slaps together, see how long everything lasts, and it goes from there. So, yeah, we're going to come back next week because I am beat. I worked through my lunch today just to try to knock this out. But got the front end done. We got our frame welded back up where our brackets for our plastic will bolt up. Got it all painted up. Got our rear diff in, CV joints back in, and we just have to basically put all this back together and reseal that belt box, which there was a lot of issues with that, but we'll get into that later. One thing I did notice, check that frame out. I didn't even notice it when I was taking it apart, but I was throwing the diff in and I looked over and saw it. This thing's been welded on quite a bit at some point. I don't know if it broke there or maybe it was a rust issue. I'm not sure, but definitely had a ton of weld slapped on it. But yeah, we're going to come back next week, throw this thing together. For now, I am out, y'all. Have a good weekend.